Welcome back to the Hoopty Hay Balers channel. We are in the kitchen again, and we are destroying the kitchen, but that's okay. We had a viewer request a venison lasagna recipe. So thank you, David, for your request. I can't believe that you remembered this, but we are going to make that together, or a variation of that, because I am fresh out of venison, but that's okay. You can add venison, you can omit the venison, whatever you need. But we're going to continue on. Here we're just browning our ground beef and our sausage. This is the sausage that we made together in the previous video. The ground beef is sourced from a local farm, and we just add a few spices in there, some Italian seasoning, some red pepper flakes to give it a little more flavor. And we're just going to strain this and leave all that grease right in the bottom of that Dutch oven. I was actually out of regular onions, so today we are adding red onion and some frozen mushrooms, some garlic, and we're going to throw all of these veggies right into that grease that we left in our Dutch oven. And we're going to let those saute until the onions are nice and soft. Add in the mushrooms, add in the garlic, and stir that until it's nice and fragrant. And then we're going to add our ground beef back in. Our ground beef and sausage. And venison, if you choose to add venison. And then we're just going to give that a good stir. And we are going to get ready to add in our sauce. This sauce is actually homemade from all of our produce out of our garden. And we are going to open that up and plop that in there. And now, because this sauce is homemade, I happen to know everything that went in it, and I know that it does not have any added sugar. And so in a couple seconds here, we are going to give this a good stir, and then we are actually going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, which just kind of adds a little bit more richness to our sauce. You can choose to omit that or include it, whatever your heart desires, and depending upon if you're using store-bought sauce or homemade or fresh. So here we take a good 16 ounces or so of ricotta, and we mix that with 1 egg. I usually add my ricotta and egg mixture as I'm assembling my lasagna. I'll actually mix it into my red sauce, just because by then my red sauce usually has a chance to cool a little bit, and I don't have to worry about scrambling that egg. So we're just going to give this a real good mix, and then we are going to add in some salt and some more Italian seasoning, just to give it a little more pop of flavor, because we want this to have enough brightness to it. And then we're gonna get this mixed up real good and set this aside. I feel like there is always something to be said about a kitchen that has a bunch of dishes piled in the sink. A productive kitchen tends to be a messy kitchen. So if you are like me and tend to have a little bit of a messy kitchen, embrace it, because you are just providing your family with good, hearty, healthy meals made from scratch at home. And you're just pouring your heart and soul into those. So from here, we are continuing to make our kitchen a mess, and we are shredding some cheese. We've got some noodles boiling back there. Our sauce is still simmering away in the back, and we are just trying to get everything ready so that we can assemble this. This food processor makes the grinding of that cheese just a breeze, so you can save money and not have to buy the store-bought pre-shredded cheese, which is full of some things that you maybe don't want in your household. But we are going to get all of the things ready to go so we can get this assembled and in the oven. So while our noodles were cooking, we took the advantage of cleaning up this kitchen. Before we put this together, I have a loaf of bread that needs to get shaped. So we're going to do this first. This actually happens to be a loaf of sourdough that happened to be in need of shaping so that it could be set aside and allowed to rise again so that it could be baked the next day. Because who doesn't love a loaf of homemade bread turned into garlic bread to go with their pasta? And if you guys would like a tutorial on how to do sourdough, let me know, and I would be really excited to share that with you guys. So now we are going to get into assembling our lasagna. And I know a lot of people say they like to layer their white mixture, but I like convenience. And this is cool enough now, I don't really need to worry about scrambling my egg. So as I stated before, I am not one of those people that layers their white mixture on top of their red sauce during assembly. I like convenience, and so I mix mine into my red sauce and just do one easy layer of sauce on top of my noodles and cheese. I suppose it would help if I told you what kind of cheese I use. So I shredded up quite a bit of regular cheddar cheese here, and then a brick of mozzarella as well. And anything left over, I will put in a container and keep in the fridge. And now it is time to start assembling our pasta. So I always start with just a really thin layer of sauce on the bottom, and then we're going to start adding in our noodles, and we'll just keep adding. We'll add noodles, and then we'll add sauce, and then we'll add cheese. You might have a better sized pan than I did. This one's kind of awkward. I would say the square one that I used to put the freezer lasagna together, the noodles just fit in better. So, and then I'm going to add some of our cheddar cheese, some of our mozzarella cheese, and then I do have a bag of Parmesan cheese that I bought pre-shredded just because I wasn't able to find a block of Parmesan to shred myself. So I did buy a bag of that. So again, more noodles, more sauce, more cheese, and you just continue on until you're either run out or your container is full. So this recipe we made 2 plates of lasagna. This one got to be a little skimpy. We were running a little low on the sauce, but that's okay. Someday when I don't want to cook, I just want to pull something out of the freezer and throw it in the oven, this is going to taste fabulous, skimpy or not. This one is going to be our dinner for tomorrow. They prepare ahead fabulous. Again, this did not have any venison in it, which was requested, but if you wanted to include venison, you could just either substitute out the ground beef for ground venison, and you can grind your venison the same way we ground our ground sausage if you'd like. And if you want to see how we ground our ground sausage, we can link that video below. But if you wanted to substitute the ground beef for ground venison, you could. Otherwise, when I typically include the venison in the lasagna, I will just take 2 parts sausage to 1 part beef and 1 part venison. And you have 3 fabulous proteins in your lasagna. So thanks for coming along with us as we prepared this today, and we'll catch you next time.